Nice to be here. My name is Joonas Merikanto and I'm from the Finnish Meteorological Institute. And so you might have heard about this report that came out a couple of months ago from the IPCC. And this is a special report looking at the rate of climate change at the moment and the emission cuts that are needed if we want to maintain it in a reasonable level. So basically, we are facing at least 1.5 warming from the pre-industrial levels, more or less certainly. Now we're at 1 degree in terms of global warming. We might just keep the warming on this level if we do very big cuts, because if we go above it, then the really nasty side effects of the climate change will start hitting in. So this will happen around 2040. But if we continue on the path, business as normal, as usual path, then we will hit 5 degrees by 2100. What will happen actually if we go beyond this limit of 1.5? Well, there will be several impacts. There are temporal damages. We will see a lot more extreme weather and a lot more damage related to extreme weather events. Then there are health-related impacts, much more higher mortality in some countries where there's very hot at the moment already. Very severe damage on the agriculture and fishery, and also some irreversible damages like the loss of coral reefs. It seems, and then melting of glaciers and sea level rise. So, in order to avoid this, most of the really serious damage, we would actually need to go at net zero emissions around 2050. This means the whole globe. We will need to go to net negative emissions actually after this. This means that we need to start capturing carbon from the atmosphere with technology that doesn't even exist at the moment. Events that can be related to climate change, like floods, storms, droughts, they are rising quite rapidly. So we can say that 4 out of 5 natural disasters are somehow can be related to climate change at the moment. These statistics, when we talk about global warming, we say 1.5, 2 degrees. It sounds a bit vague. And it's a metric that we can use as a measure of the climate change, but it doesn't tell you what happens around the world. The continents are warming much more quickly than the rest of the world, the sea areas, during the 50 years. Also, the Arctic area is warming really rapidly, at least twice the rate of the global average. So you need to remember that when you talk about, say, 2-degree warming, it means something like from 4 to 6 degrees in the Arctic area. Also, the rain patterns are changing. So basically, you can very broadly say that where it is wet at the moment, it will get wetter. And where it is dry, it will get drier. So when you look at the overall vulnerability of the population, you see that more or less the already poor will suffer the most. So if I take a couple of examples from around the world, let's say Helsinki, what's going on in here? Well, so far the Finnish climate has warmed by 2.3 degrees from the pre-industrial era. But actually it's not, again, the whole year. Most of it is during December. It's 5 degrees. Summers have not warmed almost at all. So it's the winter that is warming. Also, it's getting more rainier. If we look at the annual rain rate, we will see that there will be much more rain in Finland. Then look at Los Angeles, a bit of a different story. here the temperature change is roughly the same as the global average. However, the extreme heat is the main concern in Los Angeles. So if you look at the number of days with the extreme heat, it's going higher and higher all the time in this area. And this is what is affecting people's health. Again, in Helsinki, the sea level rise is not that much of an issue because the land is still rising here after the last IJs. And also, most of the sea level rise is where the sea is quite deep and close to the equator. So in Los Angeles, it's a big problem. There are lots of areas that are that can be actually left underwater. So what needed to be done? I've put here some social levels of action. So you have the individual level, you have the municipal level, or something less than a country, then the national level and international level. So that's why we need international treaties, international policy. But this has been slow as well. From these treaties, and you can affect the national policy, but also, of course, through voting and requiring for change. But actually, this municipal level is the one that is most active at the moment. If you look at actual action, national level, this is the Paris Treaty from 2015. It was based on pledges. There's nothing legal about this treaty. People just, the countries just made pledges that they will make these and these cuts. So they nicely said that they want to keep the warming below 2 degrees and aim to under 1.5. But this is just talk, not action. So they made pledges, but these pledges will take us to 2.5 degrees warming by the end of the century. And it's certainly not enough. So where you can actually do quite a lot to emissions is this cities and municipal level, because many of the solutions needed are related to the energy. There is several times there are like energy factories taken care of by the cities, like in Helsinki. Transport solutions, city planning is a big issue. Education, social services, all this can do a lot. So if you look at the examples of local climate strategies now here in Finland, for example, Helsinki wants to be carbon neutral by 2035. Good. Turku goes to their 2029, according to their pledge. Espoo has promised to go there 2050. Then there's 43 municipalities, smaller towns that have made a big pledge, and I will talk about this in this next slide. But then also we have joint international pledges, again, city municipal level. Copenhagen, Johannesburg, London, Los Angeles, so forth. All these cities have promised that their new buildings will be net carbon zero by 2030, and all the existing ones by 2050. So that's something concrete. In Finland we have this Hinku project, but there's 43 municipalities now that have all pledged to cut their carbon emissions by 80% by 2030. So this is possible. With the current technology, with energy saving, you can make these very big reductions in various places. This is the model town in Finland, town of E. It's a place with around 10,000 inhabitants, and it's already making a cut of 80% in the emissions by 2020. One small place in Finland. It's the top emission reducer now in Europe. They have a very broad approach. They're looking at transport, heating, also education at the same time, and they can do it. So certainly bigger places should be able to do it as well. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Joonas.